Known today as a pioneer, Kathy Williams has a cherished history of resiliency and survival when everyday life of the vast majority of Americans was a struggle. As we study history and celebrate Kathy Williams' life, we will come to find her volunteer service in the United States Army was at a time when blacks were just released from the bondage of slavery and once considered them property to be owned, not citizens of a land for which they were now willing to serve and die for. And women as well were not recognized as citizens of the United States and were forbidden to serve in the military, but her commitment to survival and a better way of life gave her the courage to prevail. Because general employment opportunities after slavery was not available to blacks, many African Americans took a long, hard look at military service, which offered shelter, education, steady pay, medical attention, and a pension. Some eventually decided military service would be better than unemployment. Partly because of a cousin, a friend, and her desire to make a living and not be dependent on relatives and friends for survival, William Kathy was born and enlisted in the Army on 15 November 1866 as an infantryman. This event will mark a place in history for the future female Buffalo soldier who we now know today as Kathy Williams, aka William Kathy, as her papers read. Let's take a moment to think about how amazing that must have been from what we know about the history of the infantryman. Up to the time she was found out, Williams served her country and brothers in arms unknowingly as a female infantryman without question. She didn't have anyone to tell her that she couldn't do it because she was a female. Up until the time she was found out, I can only imagine she was just as good as any male infantryman, if not better. But history won't tell us that. Rarely is much ever said about the extraordinary accomplishment of the Buffalo Soldier in American history outside of the month of February and maybe the month of March. But if we were serving in a time much like today, their service to the nation and their accomplishment will be celebrated without question. As amazing as her service to a nation that considered her property and considered her not a citizen, Kathy Williams didn't have the luxury of having her service as the only documented African American woman infantryman to serve in the United States prior to the 1948 law, which officially allowed women to serve in the Army and be recognized and celebrated. In fact, once she was found out, her service was frowned upon because she was a woman in what she was, because she was a woman serving in what was still considered a male-dominated occupation. And she was discharged from the Army, citing not fit for duty after 2 years of service. Because she was a house girl, cook, and washwoman prior to enlisting in the Army, Kathy was again able to survive after discharge from the military with work she was familiar with from her past. After years of poor health, she applied for a service pension and was denied by the Pension Bureau. Although a law has been passed in the recent years that allows women to serve in combat armed occupations in the military, from the beginning of time, women have knowingly and unknowingly served and proved we can serve this nation with distinction alongside our brothers in arms if only given a chance, as the life of Kathy Williams displays. With researching and considering what I want to say about Kathy Williams, aka William Kathy, I had to immediately think about her service, what her service meant to me as an African American soldier. She set a precedent against the odds for the future of female military service. She did it without fanfare and intention. She did not enter the military nor reveal she was a woman to prove a political point. She joined to survive and make her own way in the world. Kathy Williams had no idea when she enlisted in the Army on 15 November 1866 under the pretense of being a male. She will be establishing a legacy for female soldiers in the military and will be recognized centuries later. In closing, some parts of history makes us stand a little taller as the understanding of Kathy Williams' life had made me. She called a small but symbolic place in the history of American women, in the history of African Americans, and in the history of the United States. First, Sergeant, thank you for this opportunity to recognize a woman who is a proven pioneer for my journey as a soldier, an African American soldier, a female soldier, and an African American female soldier. Godspeed to each of you as you establish your own piece of history on your journey through life. Thank you.